You guys want to hear a funny story? Because I want to tell you a funny story. This comes from Instagram. I saw it in a reel. Of course, I see everything. Everything I talk about comes in reels, guys, and everything I talk about is factually correct because I'm never wrong. And you guys are just gonna need to accept that at this point. But no, somebody like posted this video and it said my jaw is still on the floor, and it's this video of this guy with all these tattoos and like he's just got face tattoos everywhere. He looks like a fucking menace. And this guy commented saying, "You're in recovery, lol. Let's hope he gets back on the stuff and ends it all," with a skull emoji. Basically tell him to kill himself in a sense. And the guy's like, the guy made this video saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna just be, wholesome and avoid the drama and not respond to these comments." But no, this guy with the fucking tattoos, he literally I'm still laughing about this because this is absolutely ridiculously savage and out of control. He went to the guy's Facebook page because a lot of people are stupid, right? They don't like secure their Facebook page, like they don't put their privacy settings on. They basically have an open door for people to see their life, which I think is really stupid, especially if you're going to talk shit on the internet. So he had his Facebook wide open so this guy could look at all of his fucking photos and everything. So he looked at his photo and he noticed the one photo, and it's like the last photo of my pop, like his dad, alive, and it's his dad, and he's got like the oxygen thing on his face, whatever. And then this guy, this fucking guy, because of this comment, he got a tattoo of the guy's dad on his arm with the fucking Grim Reaper behind him. Holy shit! I'm not even making this up. Like I'll leave a link to this in the description of the podcast if you're on Spotify, YouTube. I'll leave it like just before the initial description. I'll leave an Instagram link, and you guys can watch the reel. It's fucking savage. It's out of control. Welcome everybody back to Not Rich Just Bored, episode number 92. We have to talk about a special milestone, first of all. And while my phones are going off, you know what? That's been a staple lately of this podcast, is that every time I go to record, my phone seems to want to fucking go off. And for some reason, I just don't know where the vibrate key is, apparently. I always leave it on. But the problem is, I got two phones, one for the bitches and one for the No, I'm just kidding. One's for work and one's for pleasure. Sometimes they're both for pleasure. No, I'm fucking with you. But yeah, no, I have a work phone. So it's usually, I'll set one or the other. I'll set the one phone to vibrate, and then I'll forget to turn the other phone off or whatever. It's like, usually when it hits the weekend, because it's actually Friday, I'm recording this late. If you guys have noticed that the episode has not come out yet. And that's because I was late recording, and we'll get into that why I was late. But I just want to say something first, real quick, and that's that we not counting this episode. Once this episode is up, but as of right now, as I'm recording this episode, there's 100 videos on YouTube. We have 100 videos on our channel. So that's the 91 podcast episodes plus 9 other videos between the Just Board Gaming and the live stream archives. So that's pretty cool. And again, I'm still going to open up those floodgates, probably do some more gaming videos eventually. I want to do some more streaming. It's so crazy busy. My life usually slows down more in winter here coming up. So that's when I'm hoping to start the new series, which you guys will have to keep a lookout for. And maybe do some more gaming videos. But like I've said before, the gaming videos, they just kind of come to me. If I feel like doing a video, I'll do it. And that's kind of the whole vibe between the whole vibe about my channel and why I started this. Is I just kind of wanted to keep everything organized because I like a neat channel. That's why I color coded everything. The purple live stream, the yellow is the podcast, and the blue is the gaming, and whatever else if I start a new series, it'll be a different color. But I just like to kind of keep it organized so people know what they're getting when they see an upload on the YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, it doesn't matter because you're just a podcast fan. That's fine. You don't have to subscribe to the YouTube, but I highly recommend that you do. What is that? Pop-Tart? I haven't even had Pop-Tarts. I got some sort of a residue is on my pop filter. I don't know. I think I just called it a Pop-Tart because it's a pop filter, and yeah, my brain don't work so well. But I don't know. I just kind of do things as they come to me, and so I never wanted to be pigeonholed because I don't want to just do gaming content, and I didn't want to just do the podcast. The podcast is the consistent thing. I've talked about it many times. I want to do one a week, and that's just always been my goal, and I like to stick to that. And unless I'm working away or something dire comes up, I stick to that one a week, and I like it that way. But everything else is just kind of whenever I have time, if I have inspiration. And that's anybody who's in the YouTube game, they know what I mean by that. That's part of the problem with YouTube is the inspiration. Like, so many people, they get burnt out, and I know what happened to me when I had my old YouTube channel, like Code Manliness was my old one, and it's still up. I still have content on there. I just don't upload to it anymore, but it's kind of a cool archive to, look back to the past. And I might be doing some content with that. We'll see. See how it goes. But it's one of those things, like, if you do things and you put a lot of your spare time into it, especially while you're working a full-time job, you get burnt out because you're doing shit all the time, and also because if you're not making progress on your channel, you do get burnt out. And that's what happened to me on my old channel. But the thing is, part of that was I hadn't really found my stride back then. And I believe I've talked to you guys about it before, but for those of you that are new here, it's just sometimes you got to find your own original idea. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that, starting a podcast, that's an original idea. No, but it's my own podcast. That's the thing. It's my own thing. And when I do content now, I do content the way I want to do things. And I told people how with my old gaming channel, besides the newer videos, like I did a couple Elden Ring videos and stuff like that, those were my own thing. That was kind of me doing my own thing and coming into my own. But a lot of my old, like, horror games and stuff, I was kind of taking a page out of, PewDiePie's book or Markiplier, people that were very popular at the time that I really enjoyed. And so, that's how kind of the way it goes. You emulate people's style. But I feel like, especially today on YouTube, the way that you put yourself out there, the way that you make yourself unique is by doing your own thing. You have to do your own. You could play the same game, because obviously everybody plays the same game, but you have to have your own shtick, kind of. You have to be original, and you have to stick out from the crowd. And I think that's where, people will find their stride if they do that. But if you were lucky enough to be back in the day and you got popular from doing something that everybody else was doing, that's good. That's great. But for people coming up now, there's just so much content. You really have to separate yourself from the crowd. You have to stand out. And I think some people, unfortunately, that has led to a lot of what people call Zoomer editing. And I'm not a huge fan of Zoomer editing. That's where, and I'm sure you guys know, I know a couple of guys that listen to the pod show here. I know you guys, and I know you're around my age, so I'm sure you would feel the same way, that the Zoomer editing is fucking cancer. And that's where, like, they'll start a video and they'll be like, "Oh, well, welcome," and it'll be like, "Top 10 people to kill in Starfield," and they'll be like a bunch of like just a bunch of sound effects, and it's basically like, hey, keep your attention, here's your attention. And it just, I don't know. I don't like it. It's so funny because I've talked about it on here before too. How like my favorite my favorite YouTube content when it comes to like especially gaming and stuff like that. I don't like to watch the big heavily edited boop boop beep 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 boop, that kind of weird stuff. I honestly like things like just long plays even. People like one YouTuber I love is I talked about him on here before. Oh Christ, what's his name now? That's gonna drive me fucking crazy. Let me look through my subscriptions here. Nope. 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 I don't have it here. Hold on. Let me look it up. I gotta look it up because it's gonna show up. Gamer Zach. That's who it is. Yes. As soon as I YouTube Caesar 3 came up. But Gamer Zach, I've talked about him on here before. He's just like a lot. He's a Twitch streamer, but he uploads to YouTube. I just don't have time to watch Twitch that much. Sometimes if I catch them live, I catch them live, whatever. But a lot of people, they do Twitch, right? And I just catch the YouTube version of it. But I like it. I just like where it's like he's playing a game that I love. It's a classic game. And he's just kind of playing it and he's good at it. And he knows what he's doing. It's like an hour to 2 hour long sometimes. And I'm okay with that. I think that's perfect for me. But what most of the Zoomer types, and I don't want to pigeonhole you guys because you're listening. I mean, you could like long form content like this. That's cool. But a lot of them like the really screwball, like, Call of Duty blackout montage and just like a kill montage with a bunch of funny sound effects, and which is fine. That's fine. And I could see how those are entertaining sometimes. But like when I just want to chill, lay in bed, maybe have a beer or something, just chill for the night. Not during sober October though, guys. No beer. And I still haven't had beer or caffeine. I'm a fucking champ. All right. Try to go one-on-one with me. I'll beat you. But yeah, they do that long form content, and it's a lot more chill. Where it's like those big compilations I can only watch so long. It gets a little bit fucking old. But what was I gonna say next? Oh yeah, there's some kind of crazy shit going on in this is in Canada, good old Canada, where your boy lives. Um, there was a woman in Saskatoon, apparently, that's in Saskatchewan. She was charged with threatening the prime minister online. Just let me bring it up here. Oh, I don't want to play it. Just want to bring this up. Yeah, it's a 25-year-old Saskatchewan woman, Marley Danzero, has been charged with making threats to cause harm or death to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on social media. She is set to appear in Saskatoon Provincial Court on November 23rd. If she's found guilty, she could be sentenced to up to 5 years in prison. Holy fuck. That's out of control. But here's the thing. For me, okay, guys, it's one of those subjects, right? It's one of those kind of on the fence subjects. On one hand, you shouldn't utter death threats and stuff like that, for sure. I agree with that. I think we're all in agreement. There's no arguing that point there. You should not be fucking uttering threats, let's say. But by the same token, we live in a world where they're always online. People are always online. And the things they say in private sometimes go on the internet, and you don't expect people to see them. Like, how many times have I gone to a rig site or an oil well site or something like that, and I'll talk to some guys and I'll be like, oh, somebody should kill that cunt. It's like, referring to the honorable prime minister. And it's like, yeah. Does that mean those guys are just going to go up to there and just fucking take a gun and shoot Justin in the head? No, guys. Let's be real. They're not going to do that. Just like I'm sure this lady wasn't going to You know, there was no attempted murder. I don't think. I think she was just probably fucking pissed off about something on social media, and yeah, she probably said something like, "Oh, we should kill that motherfucker," you know. Which again, I don't think it's a good thing to utter death threats, you know. But at the same token, I don't think she's a threat. I don't think she's gonna be going to assassinate fucking Trudeau. All right. I think we need to just calm down a little bit on that. And I certainly don't think she needs 5 years in prison. And there'll be some people that'll say, well, yeah, well, maybe you'll teach her a lesson. Maybe she won't be doing that anymore. Fair enough. You're not wrong. But by the same token, look at the amount of fucking like liberal people in America that were talking about assassinating and killing Trump. Like and we all remember the Kathy, who the fuck was that? Was that, oh, you guys are screaming at your fucking truck deck right now. Was that Kathy Griffin? Hold on. Severed head. The old Donald Trump severed head. Kathy Griffin. Yes, that's what it was. It was Kathy Griffin. She did that whole fucking skit, and she had a severed, it was a fake head, obviously. It was a fucking fake Donald Trump head, but leaking blood and shit. Like, it was very, like, it was fucking, it was a little over the top. But even that one I didn't care about. I didn't think she should, you know, I personally, I didn't care, because I'm like, whatever. It's, she's obviously fucking taking a piss. Is that British or is that Australian slang? Taking a piss. I actually don't know. I think it's British. Maybe. I don't know. Leave it in the comments, guys. But yeah, like it was obviously like a meme, but the thing is she took it too far, and she was on TV and everything. So, and then but she got some repercussions at least. But fuck's sake. If a conservative person at the time had done that with an Obama head, or in Canada Trudeau head or something, they did the same stunt, they'd be in fucking jail. They'd be under the jail. They'd be fucking Epstein at that point. Like, they'd be fucked up. So I think there's a double standard, but for a lot of that shit. But by the same token, I just don't care. I think people should be able to speak freely, speak their minds, and yeah, you should be able to say controversial shit. If the girl says, I'm gonna kill such and such, and the next day she's in her purchase history, there's an AK-47. Okay, yeah, sound the alarms. But if it's just a person like me, for example, just a fucking lone Canadian with a microphone in front of his face talking to a screen, like, I'm just shit. I'm just talking shit, guys. That's what it is. I'm talking shit, having fun. That's what I do. There's no malicious intent, you know. I have the as big a reason as anybody to hate that motherfucker Trudeau. But you know what? I don't think anybody should go and try to kill him. You know. Have I said things possibly in private conversations as a joke? But no, nobody should ever be actually shot and killed. But I don't know. I just think I just think this got blown out of proportion for her. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't think she deserves to go to jail personally. I think it should be one of those slap on the wrist scenarios. But I think going to going to jail is a little excessive. There's a there's another video that's been passed around that's making me laugh. It's, hold on, I gotta find it here. Where the hell did it go? Oh my god. There's this there's this lady, and I don't know what she's on. She's on some sort of an interview show or something like that. And she was basically comparing to how she was saying, and this is old at this point, but I just wanted to bring it up because it's a funny point of conversation. There's an old lady. Well, she's not. She's middle aged. I don't know, but she's this bigger lady, and she's complaining that how they praise bodybuilders for being muscular and heavy, but society is fat phobic because they don't let fat people be big. They think that's gross. And, but they're way the same as these bodybuilders in some cases. And it's like, it blows my mind that these people exist. It's like, no, being fat is unhealthy. I'm sorry, it is. We've been through this many times on the show, guys, and there's no way to justify it. And yes, and a lot of time these muscle guys, these big fucking bodybuilders, they're just as heavy as some of these fat people because muscle weighs more, right? Muscle is more dense than fat, so it weighs more. And I'm not going to say some of these crazy muscular guys, I don't think they're healthy. Like the guys that are just steroided up, like roided up and crazy, there's a whole another discussion to be had there where, I think the ticker's taking a little bit of a hit there when you're that jacked up, but that remains to be seen for some people. But the main discussion of her argument is that fat people are the same size, like they weigh the same, so why is there this kind of transgression against them? It's like, well, it's because like being fit and able-bodied it is healthy. It's good. Again, you can get into the whole steroid thing, and that's a little, that's an iffy territory, but for a different reason. But it's not that society's fat phobic. It's just we want people to be healthy, we want people to be aware. And I think for a lot of those people, it's just like, it's hard. It's hard to lose weight. I know that. Been through this 100 times. I'm not a small guy by any means, but I'm going through my own fucking journey. It's hard. It is hard. But you got to do it. You got to do those things, and you got to put in the work. And a lot of these people, unfortunately, are just so big, they just don't want to put in the work. Like Canada's health minister and like all these health ministers that are just grotesque. It's like, oh, well, everybody's just full of shit, apparently. But yeah, I don't know, guys. There's one thing I've been experimenting with. We're gonna get away from the fat phobia, guys, okay? We're a chill podcast. This is a nice chill area. I got like some Magic the Gathering cards by me. I'm just itching to play. I got my Mario Brothers coaster down here. I wish I had the video set up. You guys could see this cool stuff, but I'm just a chill vibe. And one thing I like to do when I chill, recently, as you guys know, is I like to play some WoW Classic, the hardcore version in particular. And I just discovered a mod. Now I don't know how long this one's been out, but it's on Curse. But I just heard of it a couple days ago, and I installed it because I'm like, this looks interesting. And it's an AI mod, because if anybody's played WoW, they know that when you get a quest or you talk to an NPC, NPCs have their generic voice like, "What's that?" And they have their little interaction voice like, "Peace be with you." But the actual text that scrolls is you just have to read it. And everybody, I don't know like anybody, I mean, from my group anyway, of people I played with, I don't know anybody that actually read the fucking text all the way through, unless you had to discern where something was, and then you read more into it. But I don't know anybody who read every quest and went through them, because that's strenuous. You want to just keep playing the game. You want to have fun. But with this AI, it's a fucking AI add-on, and what it does is it narrates that for you. It makes it so that a little animated speech bubble of the character that's giving you the quest, or you're talking to. It's not just quests, it's also talking to NPCs. Their animated portrait from like what it would be in World of Warcraft there. It pops up with kind of a, like they're talking as if it's Do you guys remember Warcraft 3 when you select a unit and they have the little portrait? And it's like, it looks like they're talking, but it's just their mouth moving. It's like that. But it has the voice and it's AI generated. So it just reads the text that whatever text you have to read that they're talking to you about, it gets read out by an AI. And the AI voice is based on, if they're a human male, it's based off the human male voice for World of Warcraft, like the generic voice for when you click on them and stuff. So it's really fucking good. And I can't believe how much it adds to the game. It's almost like, this is going to sound crazy, but it almost feels like I'm playing a different game. It really does. It feels like a completely different experience because when you get a quest or you hand in something, you're actually hearing the quest from the person. And again, yes, you can read it on your own, and but ain't nobody got time for that. I'm more of a I'm not much of a reader. I'm more of a listener. I like that because it gets me into the game more. So basically, through an AI script, this add-on has basically made World of Warcraft fully voice acted. And it's just simple. I mean, I don't know how simple it is, but it's just an add-on. One add-on. You add one file to the add-ons folder, and boom, you got full voice acting in the game. And it's insane. I'm probably gonna do a video on it on the channel here just to show you guys it. I'll probably do it next week. I don't think I'll have time this weekend, but gotta hang out with my daughter. And daughter time is very precious because she's so sweet. And I have to go pick her up soon, so I gotta wrap this up soon. But I digress. If you guys are playing WoW Classic, please check out this AI add-on. It is absolutely unreal. It's on Curse. If you just Google like World of Warcraft AI voice, and it'll show you on Curse there's a couple of ones yet. You have to download the voiceover, and then you have to download the voice pack for the game, and it's unreal. Now I've heard there are glitches, well, not glitches, just they're not done yet. Like I heard troll voices don't work for the Horde side, and some other voices. I can't remember what they said. There was a couple on the Horde side, it seemed like, but I did a little bit in the dwarf area, and I did it in the human starting area so far, and like all the voices worked perfectly for me, and it sounds good. Like it's crazy to think about the future that AI is going to play in game design. I was chatting with my buddy the other day there, Justin, Sword Kira, friend of the show. We were talking about before the or after bowling rather. We were talking about this add-on and just how game design is going to be insane in the future, just for like voice actors. And this kind of sucks in a way to me because I think voice actors are important, but I think they're going to be obsolete eventually. They're just going to do this AI shit, and then I think what's going to happen is people will license out their voices. So like if you want Morgan Freeman to narrate your game or your movie or something, it's just like you have to license out his voice from him or from his family if he's dead. And Justin offered the ethical question about how people would just, game designers, what have you, to save a buck, they would use they would use Morgan Freeman's voice, but they would pitch it up or down just to, change it slightly. So it's like, oh, I'm not using his voice. I'm just, it's close, but no cigar. And, they try to grease the system that way. And you know what? That's true. That might happen, but I guess that's just something we'll have to cross at the time. But I don't know. It's bittersweet because, like I said, I see the potential. Like in World of Warcraft, it's so fucking cool, and it really opens up the world and makes it really pop, and it makes it just I don't know. It just makes it a lot more immersive to me. And but then on the other hand, I think voice actors are incredibly talented, and I think we need them, and I think we need that diverse cast of voices. From anime, like everything that's voice acted, right? Anime, games. It's just there's a lot of unique voices, and I think it would be weird for it to all go to AI, but unfortunately, I think that's kind of how it's going. But I guess we'll see. But I don't know. I'm torn on that one because on one hand, I love voice actors, and I think they do offer a unique, you know, vision, like their unique voices. But on the other hand, it's like they're not going to be able to stop progress. It's just going to march on with or without them. So I don't know what to say. Oh, guys. Yeah, last thing a couple last things here to finish up. I thought I'm sorry to anybody, any of my friends listening that are on my Snapchat. I'm sorry if I freaked you guys out. I posted like a picture of I did a sleep apnea test because trying to see if I have sleep apnea, which I'm almost certain I do. But it's just basically so I can get the authorization to fix my deviated septum that's been fucked up for my whole life, so I can breathe better. And yeah, this fucking, I don't know if you guys have ever done it. It's crazy. You basically look like Darth Vader. Like you look like Darth Vader lost a bet to the Emperor. And he had to like, it's fucked up. But you have like a finger. You have this finger thing that measures your heart rate that you have to wear. You have to wear it for one night. So you have the finger thing, and then you have this chest strap to measure your diaphragm kind of thing going up and down, and then you have this little. It's a snoring mic. Supposedly it doesn't record your audio though. I hope it doesn't, because otherwise those ladies are in for some, a little bit of fun, a little bit boom, boom, dum, dum, tsh. You guys get that reference, huh? A little bit of before bedtime activity when you're alone, huh? A little bit of seeing Jesus. But no, it's supposed to measure vocal vibrations or something. So you have to tape it right on your throat. So, and then you have to wear like what an old person would have as an oxygen tank, like that clear tube that goes up your nostrils and then around your neck. Um, you have to wear one of those, but it's not for oxygen. It's to measure airflow at night. So I'm just laying there, and I got this finger thing on, the chest thing on, the thing taped to my throat, and then oxygen thing. I took a Snapchat and put it on my story there because I told my buddy, I was like, because I was showing him this whole tester kit for sleep apnea, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna look like Darth Vader. He's like, I want to see a picture, so I sent it to him and the story in case anybody else wanted to see it. And I just put the caption, I'm all hooked up, but I kind of looked fucked up, like I was sick or something because of the flash. And it was late at night, so I was tired. I didn't notice how bad it looked in the photo. I posted it, but like people are like messaging me, "Are you okay? Are you dying? What's going on?" And I'm like, "Are you in a hospital?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "I'm sorry, guys. It's a sleep apnea test. I just was posting it for my buddy to show him that I look like Darth Vader." And then I was like, if everybody wants to see my fucking, because I just have all this shit, all these wires running off me, I just look like a mental patient. Fucking hilarious. But yeah. Anyways, guys, the last thing I want to say before I close off here, don't want to get too serious on you guys, even though I do from time to time, but I see some people. I don't know if these people listen to this podcast. I don't know. Does anybody listen to this podcast? Tell your friends to listen, god damn it. You gotta subscribe to PewDiePie. I'm just kidding. Subscribe to Not Rich Just Bored on YouTube, guys. You won't regret it. But I don't know if these people listen or not, but I just see them posting almost every day on social media about how they have nobody and nobody's around for them, and they feel alone in the world, and they're like, oh, I've got all these mental issues. I've got this crazy mental state. I'm just depressed, and I'm you know phasing in and out of reality. They're supposedly, they say they're disassociating, and they feel alone. But when they post on social media, the people that, I notice a trend, and this happens a lot with these people, the people that post all the time, the only people that respond to those posts are either people that live far away. They're like, oh, I wish I lived closer. Or it's people that just like, oh, chin up, but I'm not going to do anything, you know? And because I think a lot of it is begging for attention, if I'm being honest. And I understand, guys, because life is hard, and this world is crazy, and it's only getting harder thanks to those liberals. Sorry, I won't get political for once, but this world is hard. It is, but I will tell you guys, and I hope this person is listening, or I hope one day they do listen to this. I haven't said their name because I'm. You guys know the rules. I don't dox people. I don't tell people. I don't. It's not my business. I just I just say what I say, I do what I do, that's it. But I don't want to embarrass anybody or, demean anybody in any way. But I just want to say, when it comes to social media, and let me be clear here, I'm speaking from experience because I used to be one of those cringe guys that would, post all my problems on social media and beg for attention. And that's just who I was. And I was basically I was immature. That's all it was. I was immature, and I thought things that weren't true. I just, I thought I was all alone. I thought I didn't have friends at times, even though I had good friends. I had plenty of friends. I just, it's just that attention. You crave that attention on social media, especially when you're an immature man. It just happens. But I just want to tell you guys that are going through that phase in your life. You're going through that time. Just complaining about shit is not going to change stuff. What's going to change stuff is you changing your lifestyle. And you need to stop assuming the worst and just start bettering yourself. Every day, get up. Instead of complaining on social media, or instead of talking about, how you feel alone, or sharing depressing TikToks, just do something productive. Do like 20 bodyweight squats, do 20 push-ups, then the next day try to do 30, or maybe 21, 25, whatever you can do. Make incremental increases in physical activity, anything like that. Just, I think a lot of you guys you're stuck in your own heads, and you're also fighting a battle that you don't need to fight. And in this person that I'm referring to, I think one of their problems is they are caught up in kind of the liberal zeitgeist of LGBTQ rights and all that stuff, and they're exhausting their whole life trying to look one way. They're trying to look woke, and they're trying to look part of the group, right? But what they don't understand is that they're sacrificing their physical and their mental health to do that. And you don't need to do that. All right? It's okay to not fit in, especially like if people like that, if you're part of that group, that's fine. But if they're as inclusive as they say they are, they'll love you no matter what. You don't need to bow down to every one of their wishes. So, I don't know. My heart goes out to some of these people. I know everybody's struggling. I'm struggling too. Everything's ridiculous. Everything's expensive. My body hurts. But you know what I'm doing? I'm doing these tests, like the sleep apnea. I'm doing all this other stuff. I'm doing stuff to improve my health, to move forward. Because that's what you do. You rally up and you move forward. You pick yourself up, you clean yourself up, you go. It's so cliche at this point, but it's true. I spent so much time in my early 20s complaining when I should have been just listening to productive shit, anything motivating, doing something, going on a fucking treadmill, going for a walk, reading something important, reading a book, spending time with my family. Anything, literally anything, other than crying on social media. I've said this before, say it again. It's really fucking sad. It's hard to hear for a lot of people, but nobody gives a fuck. Okay? At the end of the day, when it comes to that social media shit, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares about you. If you're a girl, guys will simp on you for sympathy, but that's because they want to sleep with you. Okay? I'm sorry, but that's true. Because they want to sleep with you. The odd time that happens for guys too is that girl will, simp on them if they're acting dramatic on Facebook. But usually it's guys simping on girls, which with this person you'll see that too. But it's just like, any attention you get from acting that way on social media, you don't want. It's not good for you. So the next time you guys have intrusive thoughts or you feel like you need to post something on social media that sounds dramatic, just to be dramatic, just go for a walk instead. Do something productive. Move on with your life. Because you know what? You're preaching to the choir at this point. Like, you guys are. Because I've been there. And that's the one thing I like to relate to people is that I'm not perfect. I'm actually kind of a moron. Like, it literally took me a long time to figure out a lot of shit. And I spent a lot of my life, like, just, I'm still have no real regrets. Because, you know, it is what it is. You move on. But I did spend a lot of time just doing bullshit. So I am hoping that people will learn from my mistakes and just take their physical and mental health a little bit more seriously and realize that a lot of things that you thought were making you sad aren't making you sad. You think it's like, oh, that girl won't pay attention to me. Oh, that boy won't pay attention to me. You think that's what's making you sad. And then you're like, oh, well, it's because I'm ugly or it's because I'm stupid. It's like, no, it's not that. It's because of your mental state. Because you're feeding your mental garbage, and then you're probably eating like shit, like I was. I was eating like shit at the time. Ergo, I felt like shit. But now it's like nowadays where I'm like actually like I'm part of some sports that I'm doing. I'm getting outside. I still play video games like a motherfucker, and I play World of Warcraft for Christ's sake. That's got to be the worst of them, right? Fat fucking nerd. But on top of that, I'm taking steps to make sure I'm happy. And for me, it's obviously different than some people because I have children too. So I got to think about them too. You're not only, because if you jeopardize your own health mentally and physically, well, I mean, if you're alone, you're alone. It's sad, but you're alone. But if you got kids, you're going to fuck up those kids. It's it's a dangerous game. And I think having a kid is honestly what made me grow up the most at the time. I was already in the progress of doing it at the time, but having kids really sped it up because there's no games at that point. Like it's buck up or shut up. Is that how you say it? I'll just do the Zombieland one. Nut up or shut up. But either way, if you guys are just gonna complain on social media, just don't. And if you really do need help, like if you're really depressed or you really need dire mental help, go to a professional or confide in a friend. Because when you just do an open forum on Facebook, it's just people are just going to assume you're faking it for attention. And also, you will get attention, but a lot of times it's not the attention you want or need. But either way, I'm rambling on, guys. So I gotta go pick up my daughter. So thank you guys so much for listening, as always. Sorry we got a little bit deep there at the end, but I think it's important, the yin and the yang. You gotta do both sides. You gotta do some comedy, but you also gotta lay down the law once in a while. So again, thank you guys so much for listening. I really do appreciate the support, and I appreciate everybody that's subbing on YouTube and leaving comments. I think that's great. That's awesome. Love to see it. And remember, all links to social media are in the description below. I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.